with Berks.
BBC Radio Berkshire.
Now, picture the scene. You've done this so many times on your computer. You've gone to log in to something and then it says they want to prove that you're a human. What? This is called CAPTCHA. They're little tests you sometimes see when you're signing into a website. You might be asked to spot all the traffic lights or type out a wobbly looking letter or number, or it might just pop up and say, we're verifying if you are a human. It drives me crazy. Professor Kevin Curran is a professor of cybersecurity at Ulster University. Good morning to you, Kevin.
Good morning, Rich.
Okay, why do we still need these things? Surely AI knows that I'm human and it can just do it.
Unfortunately, not everyone online is honest. So these have actually been around for over 25 years. And they were born because students at MIT in America created these scripts, which responded to an online poll. And what they did was they created over 1 billion kind of responses. And then they realized, these researchers, that actually we need a way to tell humans apart from machines, because otherwise we can't have online polls and whatever else. And the idea is, of course, that they stop kind of scammers from being able to create accounts, being able to vote, just like I've seen here, being able to scrape sites. And we need a way to slow down these scammers and be able to detect that actually, no, there's a human at the end of the computer rather than a computer bot. But of course, that puts extra work on us. But they actually are quite clever. Because whenever you're clicking on a fire hydrant or the buses or the cars or the crossworks, you are actually you're helping Google Street Maps, and you're actually helping the driverless cars learn more about the real world. So actually, our efforts are not in vain.
How is that helping the maps on Google?
It's because you can actually verify street signs, for instance. That they're correct, but also for AI driving, again, for driverless vehicles, again, you're able to help in the real world by, assigning that is a correct object.
Hang on. So when it says pick all the squares with road signs in, what I'm doing is sort of spell checking Google Maps.
Oh, very much. I mean, whenever you typed in the early CAPTCHAs, we all remember, are where you have words which are squiggly, and there's a background, and you have to type it in, because initially that was difficult for computers to solve, where humans could, more or less immediately see what the words are. So what you were doing there, and we, as around the world, billions of us, we were helping Google their books that they have scanned, and the New York Times archives, for instance, as well, and of course letters, because scanners are not perfect and there are a lot of words which are blurry. So therefore, by us being presented with words that were difficult for the computer to ascertain what the actual word was, we actually are helping, because if 99 of us type in the answer to that word was watch, well, then it's 99% sure that is watch.
So we were gobsmacked. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm like, what? Hang on a second. I thought this was, because the other side of this is going to, when AI works out what a fire hydrant is, we are stuffed, aren't we? Because they can just tick all the boxes.
Unfortunately, computers have been able to solve it for some years, but we have kind of moved ahead and we've changed these CAPTCHAs. Now what you've seen, and of course AI has completely blown it apart. It can do whatever a computer can do. Now, there are a few difficulties that AI, and there are some signals still that we can tell a human apart. In other words, you may have noticed in the last few years, you don't solve as many of the puzzles. What you do is you simply click on a box, I am not a robot.
Yes.
And you're thinking, my goodness, how on earth does that work? But when you're moving your mouse to click, or your hands, of course, on an iPad, it actually knows the pressure sensitivity you pressed in that, how long it took you.
It knows how hard I press the mouse.
Or how hard you press the screen, for instance, and how you lingered. But also with a mouse, it knows, it can tell, it's seen so many billions of signatures. It can tell with a high degree of accuracy that a human is actually moving the mouse on the screen to click the box rather than a computer bot.
Oh, my,
So
Kevin, I've run out of time, but I have so many more questions, Kevin. Can we get you on another time and talk more about this? Because it's just, oh my goodness, it's so interesting. Hang on a second. Should I invoice Google? Because I've been helping them spell words for the last 10 years. Really? Wasn't that fascinating, man? It was so good. Look, I'm late for your travel, so let's go to that next.
all
That was
good.
Kevin Curran, who is the professor of cybersecurity at Ulster University. Sorry I had to go, Kevin, but let's get you on again and talk more about that because it was so interesting.
I'm Dilly Carter.